So here are 6 things I wish I knew before my internship interview. So you landed the interview, massive win already. Now you're spiraling. What do I say? What if I totally blank? What if they ask me about something I've never even heard of? I've been there. I vividly remember the first time in an interview, I had a half-cracked Google document of talking points. I was pacing in my room like it was a boxing match, and I was practicing how much I'm passionate about public service so many times that it stopped sounding like real words. So in this video, I want to walk through 6 things I wish I knew before my first internship interview. Honestly, this helps with any internship across the board. So let's jump in. Tip number 1, they're not testing you, they're picturing working with you. Here's a mindset shift that completely changed how I approach interviews. The interview isn't a test, it's a vibe check. They're not sitting there with their red pen dissecting every policy buzzword you say or don't say. They're not expecting you to recite legislation or from memory or pitch a think tank worthy white paper on the spot. What they're thinking is, can I hop on a meeting with this guy every week? Can I trust them to show up, ask good questions, and not disappear mid-project? Do they seem coachable? Do they seem curious? Are they chill to work with? Seriously, most internship supervisors are juggling way too much already. They're not looking for flawless, they're looking for someone who seems solid, thoughtful, and easy to bring into the workflow. The bar isn't perfection, but it's potential. So if you're stressing about having over the perfect answer to every question, pause. You're not trying to prove you're a policy genius or a genius. You're just trying to show that you're a good teammate that's eager to learn, and honestly, that's way more compelling. Tip 2, you don't need the perfect answer, you need a story. This one took me a long time to learn. When someone asks, why are you interested in this, or what made you apply for this role, our instinct is to go full resume mode. Cue the buzzwords, you know the script. But here's the thing, the answer blends in. What stands out? A story. By sticking to a specific story with no big drama, no perfect arc, that's how they remember you. Your story doesn't have to be polished or profound. It needs to be real. It gives them something to connect, a sense of why, something human, not just motivated and passionate. So next time you're prepping for an interview, don't start with something that sounds impressive. Start with something that's true. Here's tip number 3. You already have experience, even if it doesn't feel like it. One of the biggest things I see, and something I've definitely done to myself, is downplaying my own experience. You might be thinking, I just volunteered somewhere, or I was only a research assistant, but the truth is, you have more relevant experience than you realize. It may not come from a fancy job title or a paycheck, but if you ever organized an event on campus, led a class project that took actual coordination, created materials for your club or department, help peers navigate something like a financial aid or course selection. That's experience. That's problem solving, communication, project management, and initiative. Those are the kinds of skills that policy teams rely on every day, and just teams in general. The key isn't to sound impressive, it's whether you can explain what you did and what you learned from it. So for example, here's a challenge that I did, here's what I did, and here's what came out of it. Let's say you coordinated a student panel last semester. You should frame it as, our department wanted to bring in alumni working in policy. We had a short timeline and no existing contact list. So I reached out to our advisor, drafted invites, and coordinated with communications team to prove it. We ended up with over 50 attendees and 3 confirmed speakers. That tells them so much more than listing event planning. You're not applying to lead a department, you're applying to learn, contribute, and grow. And if you can tell a story clearly, that's more than enough. Tip number 4, Google them like a detective, but not in a creepy way. This one, it's one of the best confidence boosters before the interview. Seriously, I call it friendly internet sleuthing. Before any internship, I'd take 20 minutes and just research LinkedIn, organizational websites, company websites. Look for the organization's mission, not just their slogan, but what they actually talk about in their work. A couple of their recent projects, reports, or op-eds. Anything they posted on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and if you know who's interviewing you, I highly, highly, highly recommend you look them up too. Where have they worked before? What issues do they care about? Did they write a blog post 5 years ago that's still pinned on their profile? I wouldn't say you're trying to memorize their resume, but you're just trying to show that you actually care and didn't send the same copy and paste cover letter to 30 organizations and companies. Plus, here's the bonus. It gives you way better questions to ask them. Instead of the usual, what's the office culture like? You can say, I saw your team recently launched a report on housing affordability. What's the policy angle you're hoping to highlight there? Now you're having a conversation, not an interrogation. It shows curiosity, effort, and professionalism, all without you needing to be an expert. And trust me, when you've done even a little homework, you walk in feeling a little less, please hire me, and more like, I belong in this room. Tip 5, practice but don't script. It's a big one. Yes, you should practice, but no, you should not write a full script and try to memorize it word for word. I personally know the temptation. You want to sound polished, impressed, prepared. So you write down full paragraphs thinking, if I memorize this perfectly. But here's the problem. That almost always backfires. You forget one sentence and suddenly your brain is buffering, trying to recall what you're trying to say, and the interviewer can tell. It sounds rehearsed. It doesn't sound real. So here's a better approach. Write bullet points, not full scripts. Practice talking through those points out loud, in your own words. Make it sound how you'd actually like to talk. Like a real human, not like you're trying to write a whole essay for work. Here are some of the questions you should be asking yourself as you prep. Tell me about yourself. Why this internship? What challenges have you faced and how do you handle it? What are you hoping to learn? Just get comfortable answering those questions off the top of your head. Again, have bullet points. And bonus, you should record yourself. Practice interviewing yourself. That's the best way you can prepare. Also, get your phone and hit record. You'll catch things you don't realize you were doing. Or better yet, grab a friend and do a quick mock interview. It doesn't have to be formal, just 15 minutes of talking through questions with someone who will be honest with you. Remember, you're not aiming for flawless, you're aiming to be fluent. The goal is to sound prepared, not scripted. Here's tip number 6. Nerves are normal, they mean you care. Let's be honest, interviews can feel super intense. And if you're nervous, that doesn't mean you're unprepared, it means you're human. If you're feeling that heart rate start to spike and your palms are a little bit sweaty, congratulations, you're a functioning human being who actually cares about the opportunity. Even the most confident people, the ones who walk in cool, calm, collected, they get nervous too. I've watched folks with their master's degrees, years of experience, killer resumes, totally blank out or fluster in interviews. And guess what? That didn't make them any less qualified. It just means they're outside their comfort zone, just like you. So here's what I want you to do before you interview. Pause. Take 30 seconds. Breathe through your nose, out your mouth, and remind yourself, I've prepped. I care, I'm allowed to be nervous, and still do great, because nerves don't cancel out your preparation. They don't make you less smart, less ready, or less capable. They just mean this matters to you. And that's not weakness, that's strength. So, if you're prepping for an internship interview right now, just remember, it's not a test, it's a conversation. Your stories matter more than your stats. You have more experience worth sharing. Do your homework, don't overthink it. Practice so it sounds natural, not perfect. And nerves, totally normal. Seriously, you got this. I know it feels like a big deal, and it is, but the fact that you've been watching this video, that already means that you care. You're putting in the work, and that alone sets you apart from a lot of people. If you want a part 2, or maybe with specific question breakdown, let me know in the comments below. And if this helped you at all, go ahead and like and subscribe and drop a question, or even just wish me luck below. I'll be cheering you on. Thanks for watching.